When devising a program for cross-modal sensory correspondence learning or sense-blended instruction, it's very important to remember not only the nature of the content, the form, function, and pattern, but beyond that, the different qualities that various curriculum have. In particular, they break down to quantity and quality. This all may seem simple enough. We know that quantity is material that can be numbered, given value, so anything that's quantitative can be placed on a continuum or line of progression where things can be placed left, right, up, down, back or front to measure and compare against each other, with often metaphoric language used to visually describe the value relations. Quality, on the other hand, is information that is less easily devised in number. Think of how Donald Hoffman describes tasting chocolate or smelling roses. Qualia, in its original Latin derivation qualis, referring to lived experience, is not as easily assigned numeric value. However, it is important to notice that these distinctions are not as clear-cut as they may seem. Indeed, when one digs deeper, one senses that there is a great deal of gray area, a lot of intersection between quality and quantity. Think, for example, mathematics. We think, well, mathematics is a purely quantitative field of knowledge, being that we're talking about numbers and values and calculations. But when we dig a little deeper, you realize that actually there is elements of qualia in mathematics. For example, think of how the base 10 system works, which colors how we deal with number systems to such a great extent. Base 10 is not a pure logic math system. More pure logic system, like the ones computers utilize, is binary, where it is more based specifically on multiplicable functions of numbers. The base 10 was created because human beings have 10 fingers and 10 toes. So there is an element of experience, quality, that shapes how mathematics is devised in many respects. On the other end of the scale, likewise, you could look at language, and when you break it down to things such as semantics and phonics, and you think of how sound works, you realize, particularly with things like pitch, pitch reflects sound waves, and sound waves have numeric value. Similarly, colors have light rays with numeric value and measurement. Therefore, when devising any core content, one must extrapolate all the properties that are quantitative and that which is qualitative, where some subjects may lean more in one direction or the other. This is particularly important because as we program, as we code language geared towards converting information into multi-sense-based understanding to be instructed as such, that the computer system itself only knows one end of the scale. Computers are strictly tools of quantity. And so when we code the information, we must keep in mind that all qualitative information, all qualitative data will have to be translated into quantitative form with the expectation that it will be translated back into qualitative when it is used by the end user for instruction. It is important also to keep in mind that while computers do not have lived experience or qualia, they have been utilized to create facsimiles of such information. Think back to the Apple Revolution of the 1980s that took the dark, bland screen of DOS codes and converted it into the bright, engaged, user-friendly desktop interface system that we now are so familiar with. In a similar vein, we can translate information when devised by the computer to be translated back to where it can be lived and experiential, while simultaneously devising information that is numeric and quantitative in form. And as we do so, quantitative information can be most easily translated into dimensioning type descriptions where you place them on a continuum that could be unidimensional or multivariable dimensional, where you use such modalities as the Cartesian plane, whereas more qualitative nature information, by contrast, can be utilized with more things like color codes. Hence, we know how we can delineate the different elements of the information to where they can be deciphered. This gives us a whole new understanding of what instruction truly is, of what our academic information is, and where it lies on different elements. And I believe, like synesthesia itself, opens a new door to the comprehension and learning of how human consciousness works, which can give us, in turn, the key to open new forms of learning. The ultimate goal of this program is to create a congruency between the information that must be imparted through academics and the world and understandings of today's young people. Once we build a foundation of this project, it can be translated into such wonderfully engaging things as animation and video gaming, with core content embedded in every form. Therefore, revolution is upon us.